Hi everyone, it's Jenny with Joey and Jenny's Little Yellow House. You can always find us on YouTube and Instagram at Joey143Jenny. And of course, you can follow along and engage with us on Facebook at Joey and Jenny's Little Yellow House. Well, I'm back with our Junk to Journal series. We've done the first video collecting the junk, and this will be an ongoing process collecting. And you may never be done with this journal, which is the fun part of it. It's kind of like a scrapbook, glue book, journaling type of book. Really, it's going to be so fun. So, but this particular video is going to be on the cover. So I think I told you, I'm writing myself a note so I don't forget where we're at in the process. So I'm going to set that over here. But I think I told you that I wanted to try Modpodge on some newspaper because I wanted to use that as the cover and the inside. And so what I did here was I just took my Sharpie and outlined these beautiful violets, and I put just some lines here to kind of break up the paper a little bit. And now I don't know if you can see, if you're going to be able to see, but while the Mod Podge was still wet, I took my brush and outlined. So when you're sitting here looking at it, you can see that each of the flowers is outlined a little differently with the gloss. And I used matte, but if you've ever used Mod Podge, you know that the matte still is shiny. It's just not as glossy as the glossy. So that's going to be the inside of the cover. This is the outside of the cover. And so same thing, I outlined the plant that was on here, a little seedling. I tore up a bunch of napkins that we got from a restaurant, was in our bag. And Mod Podge those on, and that's what we're going to do today on another thing, just so I can show you what I did. And then I thought, oh, wouldn't it be pretty if we had glitter on here? But I'm really trying to be as authentic and true to the junk journaling trash type of thing. And so I probably wouldn't find or be throwing away glitter. I don't use glitter a lot, but it's not something that I would find in the trash anyways, typically. But I did have a bunch of hole punches. So when I went to empty my hole punch, I thought, oh my gosh, I can use those. So while this was wet, I sprinkled hole punches on it, and then waited a little while, and then I went back over it. So it does have some texture to it. Some of them aren't laying exactly flat, so I'm hoping they don't come up. So the plan is to put this manila envelope, this padded manila envelope that I got something in, put that in the middle, and then have this like this. And then that would be the journal cover. So I think I'm going to trim around that real quick. Oh, no, I think I'll wait. Let's go ahead and get started on, let me show you how I did that, how I did the Mod Podge layering. It's not rocket science, but I do want to show you. But before I do, since this isn't really colorful or anything, I grabbed my markers. And my daughter taught me this really cute, thing this week. And I thought, well, I'm going to try it on here. So let me see. I think I'll just take my can and let me find the middle of this page. I'll just put my can kind of right in here. Don't want it too much on any of the black. And then she traced it in a pencil, but I don't mind it being in this pen. I hope she doesn't mind me showing this. She just does the most beautiful artwork on to make cards for people at her church and family and things. And oh my gosh, they are so gorgeous. I'm not going to be able to do it justice, but I'm going to try. And I hope that these don't bleed. So, let's see here. I'm going to just use think these colors. I got these years and years ago. I used to be a platform trainer at another company, and this was back before you used a lot of PowerPoint. I think it was even before PowerPoint, because I remember having an overhead projector. But anyways, so we made a lot of flip charts, and I got these. Some of them, though, it looks like I've duplicated from another pile. But anyways, so what she did was she just traced a little circle. I'm going to see if I can come in just a little bit. Okay, and I hope I can remember how to do this. And then she made these circles. Now she used highlighters, which actually I think is going to be better. I didn't have highlighters, so I'm just going to use these sketch markers. I'm going to put them back because I'm not going to use it very much. And let me think how she did this. She's really good at colors too, putting colors together. Okay, do that. And then I don't even know. I don't know if I remember even if I'm doing this right, but we'll see. Okay. So we're just going to draw, I like threes or odd numbers, you know, on my thing. So I'm just going to draw that. And gosh, I hope it doesn't bleed, because I think it's going to be kind of pretty. And then I am going to go, I think, around here like this. So basically, I think if I remember what she did right, she drew that circle in a really light pencil, and then lightly erased it, but just enough so you could still see the line, but you didn't, excuse me, you didn't, what am I trying to say? You couldn't really see through it like you see my black line here. And then, I don't remember how she did this, so I'm just outlining this a little bit with these little markers. Oh, medium. Let's go medium here. I'm just doing this to add some color to this journal. That's why I'm doing this. This has nothing to do with, you know, the actual Mod Podge and putting the napkins on. Let's see, where's the medium here? Oh, that's really about the same color. Honestly, the highlighter, using a highlighter and then using your markers, oh man, it really looked nice when she did it. So, but we're going to give this a go, because this is really what I have, and I'm all about not buying more stuff, using what we have. Okay. And then what she did was she went around and put these little hearts all along the circle that she had drawn. And I'm trying to get them to all go the same way, so I'm going to turn this a little bit. Maybe one day I'll have her come over and demonstrate, because this is actually way different than what she does. Okay. All right, but then she told me what really makes it pop is to go back over it with the black, and I thought she was right when she did it. And then she kind of did these little swirls like that, or sort of like that. Hers looked a little different. I'm not sure where her swirls went, but I don't remember them curlicuing. She did them. kind of a little different. Maybe she wrapped it around itself like that or something. I'll have to have another demo. But as you can see, it definitely adds. So see, there's a line right through there. That wouldn't happen if I had used pencil and then, you know, erased it. Go around these. My hand's probably right in the way. Okay, and then I'm just going to outline these little hearts that are doubling as leaves. All right, let's hope that this does not smear when I put the Mod Podge on. I think I'm going to put some little black dots in those. It's raining, raining, raining here. Oh, I meant to only do that in the orange, but I'm going to do it here anyways. Okay. So these, if you've never used them, they all have scents. They all smell. They all have different smells. And so when I was a trainer, I was training a class, and during break, one of the gentlemen came up to talk to me about something, and I asked him, have you been smelling the markers? And he said, yeah, they smell really good. Why? Well, I said, well, maybe before you go on break, why don't you stop by the restroom and look in the mirror. He had smelled all of them, put it right up to his nose, and had like a confetti nose. He had so many spots on his nose, and what was so funny is none of the other people in the class told him about it. I thought that was funny. All right, so there's one side, like that. Okay, now I'm going to, now I'm going to Mod Podge. So I'm going to put this aside. I just had that to have a steady background. I use this old tarp to paint on and to Mod Podge on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one first. I'm going to do this method first on this side, and then I'm just going to do plain old Mod Podge on this side. So I have tore these napkins that we got at the restaurant when we drove through someplace. I've torn them up into pieces, and anything that was really spindly, I just got rid of. I didn't want to deal with that. All right, and I've got a little bit of water here. I don't know if I'll need it. Newspaper is so thin, I'm almost afraid to use too much water and water it down too much. And my Mod Podge is getting low, so I got to kind of tip it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully that won't run out. Whoops! Is I'm going to go over this side. Well, I'll probably go over both since I've already dripped, which will be fine. I'm just trying to cover the whole thing. I am not an ace at this. I don't know why. I love doing Mod Podge, but I've never been like, it's always a disaster, like mess. I'm always making a mess. That's another reason why I prepare with a tarp, and I'll probably get my baby wipes out of here in a minute. Surprisingly, almost hate to say it, but surprisingly, the paper has not ripped. Now, I did have a little bit of trouble with the napkins kind of bunching up a little bit, but I didn't mind so much because I just thought, well, it just kind of adds to the texture a little bit. Oops. Now I couldn't do this today, but yesterday I laid it outside and it dried really quick. But today it's rainy, and not just rainy, but the air is thick with moisture too, you know. It doesn't feel like the sun's coming out anytime soon or anything like that. Okay. It is smearing a little bit, but I think it's okay. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm putting these pieces down. Some of them I have left the edge on, and so I'm just going to try to use those on the edge. Okay, and I should have marked halvesies, the halfway mark. But we will just kind of estimate. And then I'll come back and put a little bit more under there. It is fun, you know, messy fun, I think. Just trying to cover everything up. And on the other one, I put a couple of coats. You know, I put a couple of different, you know, I put it on, let it dry a little bit, and then I went back and put on another layer of napkins. This one, I'm just doing the one layer. So, okay. Trying to be as gentle as I can. It's pretty funny. So see, this is what I'm talking about. It's so thin and wet that it can kind of bunch up this napkin stuff. Now, if you were to take like regular nice, you know, the napkins that, you know, you use at parties and stuff like that, they're a little bit thicker even at the 1-ply. It doesn't tear like this as easily. It does tear some, especially if you have wet glue. But these are so thin that they move around and tear, you know, a little bit easier. So on this one, I'm not going to, you know, put anything down in it. I'm just going to use it for texture. Okay, I think that's good. I'll put that in my water there. Okay, I think that's good. You can see it's already starting to dry. Let me see if this is even... Sorry for the reach. Just check and see if that has enough glue on it. Right there. I got a little bit of water on this because I was going to clean it, and then I decided, oh, maybe I should smooth it out a little bit more. So that has helped a little bit. Okay. Okay. I'll check back on it a little bit. All right. So just wipe my lid off. Good. Now I am going to just move it over to the side while we work on this other part of the journal. Get rid of my trash here. Yuck. Okay, let me move it over here real quick. Okay, and I'm going to, I just have to sop up a little bit of glue that's spilled here, just so it doesn't glue everything down that's not supposed to have glue. All right, so now what I think I'm going to do is trim this down a little bit, you know, just kind of make it a little bit easier to manage. What happened to the other part of it? Oh, there it is. Okay. I was like, oh no, I glued it to something. All right, I'm going to trim this down. And then I'm going to, I think, just kind of size it up a little bit. And then I'm going to try to use this masking tape. I think it would kind of be neat. Just hoping that, you know how sometimes when you tear off the masking tape, it splits and then, you know, so I'd like to have a nice straight edge masking tape. Because even though this is all, you know, junked journal, is trash or could have been trash that we saved, you know, I still want it to look nice. It doesn't have to be junky, or, you know, it doesn't have to be like subpar just because we are using things that we're upcycling or recycling. Okay, maybe a little bit right here, a little teeny bit. Okay. All right. All right, let me grab my little trash can. Okay, I moved my trash can so that I could put this thing we just Mod Podge. So now let me move that back. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, so my thought is, this is the inside. And I want this on the inside. So I am just going to, I'm just going to glue a little bit just to keep it in place. While we glue it down. Or, I'm sorry, while we tape it down. Doesn't seem to be super even though I measured everything. I'd like it to be even. Okay, I can trim that in a minute, I think. Okay, and now, let's see. It's going to fold that way. So I need this here. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if the art glitter glue is strong enough to work on this plastic. I thought about putting Fabri-Tac, but it's, you know how Fabri-Tac is so slick that I didn't think it would dry very quickly. And actually, once I put the napkins on this newspaper, man, it is really thick. It just really feels thick. All right, let's get started. Let's see how this goes. And if something happens, it's no big deal. We'll be able to fix it at some point. So I think what I'm going to do are the long sides first. So I'm going to try to go very, very slow here. And try very hard to get it even. I'm just going to bend it around, I think. It's very thick now that I have both of these newspapers. That I need to trim. Both of these newspapers and that padded envelope. It's very thick. No, I don't think I will trim that because I think the tape will cover it here in a minute. Let me get this down. All right, I'll leave that and I'll trim that once we get this one done. Okay. Get you just a little bit closer. I hope I didn't make you dizzy there. Slow. Okay. So far, so good. But I think I'm going to turn it over again to do it. If you had that really thick tape or even painter's tape, that would be nice to use on these edges. You could use packing tape. You could use washi tape if you had some, but I would use the one that is normally used when the one you don't like, just to try to keep it stuff that you don't normally use. Packing tape would be good, nice and shiny if you wanted it shiny. Let's see here. Grab that. I don't know why this side seems longer. I think I will trim it just a little bit. Let's see what I did. It's still okay. All right. I might sew it. I might sew around it. I'm going to see. But one, I do like the look of, it being sewn. And then secondly, I think it would reinforce it a little bit. I don't know why that seems just a little wonky. I'm trying to bevel my scissors out so that it cuts close. Okay. All right. Just trying to get it even. You know how I am with things that are even. I'm not good at it. It's always a little bit cattywampus, so just trying my best. Practice makes perfect, as they say. Okay. It feels great. Now, hey, do you guys remember? Whoops, see, that's what I was thinking of. Going too fast, how it splits like that. I don't know if anyone on here remembers this, but when I was a kid and we would go on field trips, you sometimes would make these little sit-up-ons, and it would be made out of like newspaper or maybe an old plastic picnic tablecloth or whatever, and then you punch holes in it and you kind of shoestring sew around it. And that's what this reminds me of, is taking that newspaper and making a pad. We would sit on them and, for picnics when we were on our class field trip. I have a recurring dream about being on a class field trip and having to walk home from the class field trip and getting lost. I don't know why I have that dream. It's very interesting. And I'm with my sister Shelley. We're both lost, but we're not panicked. We never really panicked so much when we were together. But so in this dream, I'm not really panicked. I'm just like, oh, we have got to get home. We've got to find our way home. And then I wake up. So it's funny how you think of things like that. Okay. We're doing it. There. Sorry if I make you dizzy again. Okay. So there it is. And it's going to fold like this. I got to let it practice it a little bit. Try to make it even. All that newspaper is having a little bit of a time, but it'll do well. I like it. It's neat. It feels great. Feels really fun. Very textured. Some of it's from the Modpodge. Some of it's from that type of napkin that I used. It has this little waffle on it. It's pretty cool. And then there's that. That'll be the inside. We might put, I might put pockets. I might not. I don't know. I really like how it looks. I really like how it looks. It feels great. Okay, so we've got that done. Let's look at how get all my tape put in the trash. Let's look at how the Mod Podge is turning out. If it's drying a little bit. We'll see how it looks. Okay, so this side's still very, very damp, but look how pretty that looks. Whoops. Look how pretty this looks. It did, you know, bleed over a little bit. Oh, good grief. It did bleed over a little bit, but honestly, I don't mind. I think it looks pretty. I think it looks pretty. I'm going to have to ask my daughter to show me this again. And like I said, maybe I'll have her come on here and show us because hers was so beautiful. Anyways, we got it done. We got the cover done. It feels amazing. I just love it. Okay. It almost feels like you could make a purse out of it. It almost feels like, yeah, like somehow if you duct taped it or whatever, it's very nice and cushiony. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the next stage. So next what we'll do is we'll find pages and put them in and get this book bound and get started. So thanks everyone for hanging out with me and going through and making that cover. Really appreciate it. I hope you'll give it a try. This will give you a little time to do your Mod Podge if you want to do that. Or you could use like an Elmer's glue. Just don't dilute it down and just know that it's a little waterier, so it could cause a little bit of curling. But that's okay because you can flatten it out, and once you tape it or however you're going to put them together, sew it, it's going to be fine. So anyways, yeah, get your things together, and I hope you'll follow along and do this with me. And I hope everyone's had a really good day. And just remember that the April showers bring May flowers. So if you have days and days of rain, it will clear up and it will get sunny. So remember, we pray blessings over all of you and for you, and you're so loved. Never forget. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.